Mabuhay!
Hi! Welcome to
The Babaylan Bruha Book Club podcast.
It's Your Village Kapwatids, Steph.
And Imee, and here we are together again. And as always, in efforts to decolonize our minds, bodies, and reconnect with spirit by ways of relation via conversation, of education, interpretation, and integration.
So, this is our invitation for you to join us on our journeys as we discuss the works of honored artists, authors, and thought leaders in the Filipinx diaspora.
Quick disclaimer, we want to acknowledge that in this moment, everyone is exactly where they need to be.
And since we are not experts, yet we share our own unique lived experiences, we invite you to take or toss any statements, opinions, words that we may use as you choose.
We are so glad you found your way here. So as always, before we begin, we want to take a moment to ground, taking a pause to drop into our bodies and become fully present to this space. If it is safe for you, we invite you to close your eyes, straighten your spine, and direct your focus onto your breath. If it is not safe for you to close your eyes, we invite you simply to take a moment to look around you and become aware of the present moment. And we invite you to breathe, taking a few deep inhales, extending your belly out, and exhales, bringing your belly in. Once more, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. I invite you to continue to breathe deeply and slowly on your own time. Connect back into your body and into this moment. Try not to think about earlier or later on today, and just allow yourself to feel what it's like to be in the here and now moment. Extend gratitude to your circumstances. Extend gratitude to the moment that you're in for being alive. And as we begin our conversation, as always, we'd like to thank God, Bathala Creator, for another gathering. In gratitude, we acknowledge our benevolent ancestors and invite them and all these forces to guide and protect this conversation today. We also thank the ancestors of the land Stephanie and I currently occupy, knowing we cannot do our own remembrance work without remembering them. For me, that is the mound builders that are the Hopewell and Adena people in Ohio. For Stephanie, that is the Bay, Miwok, Yokut people in the Inland Bay area of California. With gratitude, we also acknowledge your presence, Kaputid, your energy and your light, no matter wherever and whenever you're tuning in.
All right, everybody. So we go into Bruha Tings next, and that's usually a 90-second, because what is time? And also it keeps us grounded, because y'all know, I can talk. So we're going to do a Bruha check. What is some Bruha Tings you've been up to in the past, since the last time we spoke? And Imee is going to go first.
Ate Imee.
Okay.
Okay, sige.
Okay. Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. Everybody has it. Everybody, no matter how confident you are, you're always looking at somebody. There's a chance you're probably already looking at somebody else and you feel a little bit of imposter syndrome. So lately, what I've been doing is when I get an imposter syndrome, you have that voice in your head that's like, you either talk in first person or you talk to yourself like, you're not this or I'm not that, right? And so just jokingly the other day, I just said out loud, I was like, don't talk to my friend like that when I was having imposter syndrome. I was telling myself stuff. And then I laughed. I did it to be funny because jokes and humor as coping mechanism. But I really honestly felt better. And so I've been using it for real, out loud. Like, don't talk to
Mhm.
my friend like that. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's me. Like, don't talk about me like that. And then to know that I'm advocating and I'm like loving myself enough to like stop myself when I'm being mean to me, you know?
Mean to me.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, that's energetics, that's healing. So that's under the umbrella of Bruha Tings.
Oh, so sweet, sis. You have still have time. Do you want to keep
Oh,
going?
I don't think so. That's all I got.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Don't talk to my friend like that. That's all
Don't
I got.
talk to my friend like that.
Yeah.
That's sweet. I think that's sweet. Actually, just want to acknowledge how hard it is for people to be nice to themselves.
Yeah, and just to be aware of when you are being mean to your like I'm like since I've been doing that just like I don't know, it's the past couple days. I'm like holy shit, like I am so mean to myself so much. And like sometimes it's funny because I make jokes. I like crack on myself in my head
Yeah.
like my head and it's funny, but then like I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I probably get to not do that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally resonate with that. I actually was working with clients today and self-compassion talk because negativity is just such an easy thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes familiar
Mhm.
to do versus being nice to yourself. So
Yeah.
thanks for sharing your sweetness to yourself. I think the world needs that.
Thanks,
So
sis. Thanks for witnessing.
don't talk to my friend like that.
Talk to my friend again. All right, you ready for your Bruja
Mm.
ting?
Okay.
You look like a Bruja with the smoke rising in front of you.
Well, just these things.
Yeah, just these Bruja tings. Okay, ready?
Mhm.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. Well, happy Earth Day, Brujas, and Brujos and Brujex. I don't know. I just made a word. But yes, today is Earth Day. So try to get out there and sit with Mama Nature and I don't know, hug a tree, drinking some air. Yeah, drink. So speaking of water, that's an element I've been working with lately, especially cold therapy. So I set up
Mm.
a cold plunge outside, and my kind of bruja ting was like, I don't know, my intuition. I'm trying to do better, y'all, to listen to my intuition, like gut feeling, like first thing. So I put the cold plunge strategically underneath a palm tree because I was like, I'm going to sit here and breathe with the palm trees. So that's um, something I've been working on in just embodiment. Because look up cold therapy, cold plunges. They've been around forever. There's a lot of studies now surfacing that they help with muscle recovery,
Yeah.
inflammation, and even nervous system reprogramming or regulation.
Hmm.
So, and it's kind of badass a little bit because it's not like you're going to sit in warm, cuddly pillows, like you're sitting in freaking cold water, cold ice water. So, anyways, that's my time. But yes, that's what I've been working on, like a bruja ting, just taking care of my body and then using that as a way in honor of Earth Day. Like I like to like when I'm doing my breath work, I look up to the palm trees and I'm like, I can make it. So they're with me. They're like cheering me on.
How often do you do it every day, sissy?
I try to do it after a hard workout or
Okay.
when I'm feeling the end of the day, maybe feeling like I don't want to say maybe inflamed, like
Yeah.
the muscles feel. I've been doing Pilates, sis, and that shit. You
Yeah.
think that is not high impact, but
It,
girl,
yeah. Yeah.
and my parts of my trunk area, your abs,
Yeah.
sore today, and I didn't even break a sweat yesterday in class, but it's fucking sore like I did ab day or something.
Do you do like the whole this is a tangent, but you know, guys, we can talk. So just hang on with us.
It's all right.
Do you do the whole machine? Like there's the Pilates machine and everything?
Yeah, the reformer.
Oh, I wanted to try that.
You should. Oh
Should
my
look
god.
up one. I should look up one. But yeah, the cold plunge. The first time I did it was when I went to
We were
when I
together.
yeah,
Yep.
we were together for the first time and we did a
Mhm.
cold plunge at Drea's house, Conscious Mother, shout out. And then we started doing it once a week here, like out in a river when I came back home. And it was like, I don't know, like,
Literally, pun intended.
what did you say?
I said that's so cool.
Literally.
But I'm okay. Sorry, continue.
But yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, on the note of like the nervous system regulation, for me, I felt like it kind of told my body, like psychologically, mentally, energetically, that I'm not gonna die in this moment, and I can breathe through it.
Yes.
And I feel like energetically that kind of carried on
Yes.
to things throughout my day, and like even like challenges or whatever. So the little spot we used to go to, it was for a moment in time. Mother Earth was like, Mother Nature like created this little spot in the river, and then one day, because there was like a tree, so like a huge tree, and it was making like this little like pool, and then one day it was gone because of the rain or whatever. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share.
I love that. Yeah. So maybe that's another Bruha ting you do too, sis. She threw in a bonus for y'all's in there.
There we go.
Yeah, you can cold plunge in the forest, in the beach, even depending.
Yeah, cold plunge.
Definitely in San Francisco. It's cold. Okay.
Cold
So
plunge in your backyard, and make sure you're talking kindly to yourself. Don't talk about your friend like that. Okay.
yeah.
And that is it. Bruha Tings.
Bruha
Duh.
ting.
Complete. All right. So here we go. We're going into chapter 17 of our current book, 1521, Rediscovering the History of the Philippines. We have chapter 17. Next time we're together, we'll do 18 and the conclusion. So, Brown Girl Cliff Notes for you for chapter 17. The name of the chapter is called Bad Saint. So, Bad Saint is a chapter that celebrates the acknowledgement of Bad Saint, which is a well-celebrated restaurant in Washington, D.C., where Ate Judy lives. Based upon the title and the late Anthony Bourdain recommendation, Ate Judy was drawn to look more into what this restaurant's name, where this restaurant's name came from. She reaches out to the co-owner of Bad Saint, Genevieve Villamora, and their quote unquote not expert but experienced conversation takes us into the storyline of what created the business name, inspired from what is claimed to be the first Filipino settlement in the United States, St. Malo, Louisiana. However, according to Floro Mercine's Manila Men in the New World, Mercine cites a historian's work that the first recorded landing of Filipino sailors in the U.S. was October 1587, and it was at Morro Bay, just north of Santa Barbara in California. Fun fact, me and Sissy were there with some other friends last year, that specific place, Morro Bay.
Yes. Oh, that was lovely. We got to did bring our collie sticks and practice with sis on the beach, and then I blessed my in the ocean. That was special to me. So Morro Bay, go visit it sometime. Any of our Californians out here. So, citing Lafcadio Hearn's piece in Harper's Weekly, there are descriptions of a Manila village less than 100 miles away from the great city of New Orleans. Hearn also mentions that the oldest quarter of New Orleans had a Manila restaurant hidden away that was supported and most wholly by the patronage of Spanish and West Indian sailors. So it's just known to those exclusive, right? Villamora states that the thriving of her restaurant has brought Filipino Americans who do not feel as connected to their roots across the diaspora, specifically within the DC area. So there have been, as we'll go over in just a bit, people have said that her restaurant made them connect back to their roots. And that's no surprise that it's food, because that's how Filipinos get down. So, the saying, kain na.
Kain na. Yeah. Man, when they were talking about that Manila restaurant in the 1800s. So that was like the 1800s. There was a Filipino restaurant basically in New Orleans. I'm like, Wouldn't that be cool if that was still there? I don't know. It probably is.
Right. I want to go find it now.
I know, like a little scavenger hunt.
And it would make sense. Like, there's we'll dive into the quote. I don't even know if I brought it, if I picked it, but you think about New Orleans and how it's flood, right? It's low, it's swampy. Filipinos are like, man, we've been living in that forever. So that
Yeah.
their huts can be strategically above the water, you know?
Yep. We knew how to do it. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, that is Brown Girl Cliff Notes. All right. So after that summary, as always, we go into vocabulary words and then quotes. So we each pick one of those and we'll talk about it. So my vocabulary words, to give you some context, like we said in the summary, this is kind of there's a lot of
Foodie.
foodie stuff, and then surprisingly they talk about how, surprise, we were in New Orleans, surprise, we're in Memorial Bay, and then also we were in Mexico. So it seems as if that's why there's a lot of influence between our food cultures, if you look at some foods. So anyway, there was a drink that Filipinos introduced to the Mexican culture called tuba, a drink from coconut trees, which is now sold as tuba fresca in Acapulco. And that reminded me of this other, I don't know if this particular drink is in Mexico, if it made it there, but it's called lambanog. Have you heard of lambanog?
Yeah, that's the alcohol version.
Yeah, coconut like vodka or something. Oh my gosh. So have you had lambanog or
I
tuba?
have. Yeah, that shit is strong. I
Was
brought
it
that back
strong?
from when I got to the Philippines right before the pandemic, and I brought some lambanog back. Yeah, it's cute. It came in like like a basket weavy
Yeah.
looking kind of bottle. It tastes like alcohol, just like
I was
any.
gonna say, is this like vodka, hard liquor?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like vodka's cousin or something.
Vodka's Asian cousin.
Yeah, the vodka's Asian cousin. Yeah, yeah,
Vodka's funner Asian cousin. Okay.
funner, browner. Just kidding.
Uh, So I have another word too that I want to bring attention to. It's another food word. It's called laing, which is shredded taro leaves with meat or seafood cooked in thick coconut milk with spices.
I love
Yeah,
lime.
so good. I was gonna say, have you had laing?
Yeah, that was like my late aunt's favorite and my
Mhm.
late grandma's.
Yeah.
She would be proud to make it so spicy that you wouldn't want to eat it. It was so good. Yeah, I made it like once. It's easy because the bagoong kind of does it for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I want some right
Yeah.
now.
What's your favorite Filipino food?
Oh, that is hard, sissy.
I know, right?
It depends. Like, do I want a soup? Do I want a dish?
I know, it's all good.
I have a favorite soup.
What's your favorite soup?
I'm my dad he makes really good nilaga. I'm not gonna lie. The nilaga is good.
I like sinigang.
I do too, but
Yeah, I love sinigang.
yeah, it's the peppercorns. It's the way people would season with peppercorns for me with the
Oh
nilaga.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, even adobo. Adobo is the family recipe.
Oh yeah.
My aunt's pancit is probably the best, I think. And because she uses oyster sauce, some ratio, like the way she uses bomb.
I know. And it's so interesting. Everybody's tita and everybody's mom makes all
The
their
best.
food just a little bit differently, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So all right. Well, that is my vocabulary words. And I just wanted to ask that. What's your favorite Filipino food? If you
Did
guys
you
have
name yours? Yours is
what?
in you mean
Sinigang. And then I really honestly love a good kare kare. If you
oh
can make it really well and the sauce is good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was at a Burmese restaurant last night, and they made some noodles. It was it was probably because me and my friend were a little in, but we were making we were making like pizza out of the bread, and then I was like, oh, some curry noodles would be really good.
Oh,
I wanna
yeah.
make that if I don't make
Oh,
it soon.
I also, oh crap, what is it called? It's my brain, it's going away. The soup, the rice soup. Shit.
Oh,
Take
porridge, the
don't take away my Filipino card. Yeah. It's not
lugao.
champorado. Lugao. Yes, a lugao. When you're
Mm,
sick or something, or if it's
use
cold
that
here
right
in
here.
the winter,
Yeah.
lugao with a lot of garlic, crispy garlics on the top.
All the fixings. Yes, you gotta have the scallions, the garlic,
Yes, you can't skip
even
that.
the patis and the lemon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, now I'm hungry, so we should stop.
Okay.
And I'm complete. Thank you.
Great words, sis. Pretty appropriate to the chapter. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go into St. Malo information. That's on page 236. And so the story of St. Malo, like she started that St. Malo it says here, the first written account of St. Malo by Hearn seemed to be written in a way that accentuated the alienness of the village and its residents. So St. Malo is basically, if you think of New Orleans, it's very swampy, right? And remember how these Baha'i kubos are like built to to be above the water. So I was like, this is perfect. That's why Filipinos probably liked New Orleans, because they're like, we could live here. But so the Manila swampy affairs of this Manila village, and the houses were, quote, all built in true Manila style with immense hat-shaped eaves and balconies, but in wood. And they comment about the Filipinos having their hands and feet were small, their movements quick and easy, but sailorly likewise, as of men accustomed to walk upon rocking decks in rough weather.
Mhm.
Because we're resilient. So that's the sort of giving you an idea what St. Malo was, that area. And then, I mean, I talked about how there was a Filipino restaurant tucked in that area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's St. Malo. I just wanted to portray the landscape, what it looked like.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I looked it up real quick just because I wanted to know if it was still there.
Yeah.
It's not. It was destroyed by it was destroyed in 1915 by a hurricane, but they have
Oh,
some photos. Yo, okay, hold on. I'm gonna
no,
show
the
you.
peoples.
They have some photos of like the houses, and it's straight up like
Bye, Kubo.
Bahay Kubo. Like look at that. That's Bahay Kubo.
Like, can you
I don't
put
know
it
if you can
closer?
see it.
The camera? I can. Yeah. See, like above the swampy. Yep.
Yeah, but that's totally like that's so that's so cool.
Fun.
So
Yeah. Fun fact. I went to New Orleans in 2015.
okay, I was just gonna ask if you've ever been.
Yeah. And I actually stumbled upon a gift shop, and it was owned by a Filipina. And I was just blown by her accent because it was very Nolans, New Orleans, Nolans, and very like, but she was speaking Tagalog, and I was like stuck, like I was in the shop, like, oh my God, like this sounds so different. It was so interesting.
That's
But
that's
yeah.
interesting.
And then we got to chat for just a little bit. And she was like, actually, there's a lot of Filipinos that settle here. And I was like, what? Like where? So
Yeah, my Rob's cousins and auntie lives down there, and uncle live down in Louisiana area. So we were supposed to go down there this year for
yeah.
Mardi Gras and stuff, but we didn't end up going.
That's like
But
that time. Yeah.
but New Orleans, that's speaking of Bruha Tings, like that's a
Okay.
very spiritual place, like super
Right.
spiritual. So
Right. Voodoo, voodoo. Yup.
yes, yes. So
Oh,
all right. Well, thank you for sharing that.
you're welcome, sis.
And we've just remember, we've been here. We've been here. We were in New Orleans. We were in St. Morro Bay. We're in Mexico. So yes.
Yeah. the transatlantic slave route was a boost. But we were prepared already. We knew how to live through extreme weather. So
That's right.
that's what's cool about it. I was like, oh, snap.
Yes. So, okay, sis, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go into quotes. And my quote is from page 237. And it was this quote, to give it context, was about the Filipino restaurant in New Orleans that was there in the 1800s. So imagine that, a Filipino restaurant in New Orleans in 1800s. It seemed to me that Filipinos could be found all over history, but written out of the records because they were seen as minor characters. And so, yeah. And I think like this whole book is, that's kind of the theme of it, where, you know, we're just now trying to be like, well, what was our perspective on the whole Magellan thing, right? And and also like, just I think just recently has it become uh in Filipino knowledge, like, to be like, oh yeah, we were at Morro Bay. Oh yeah, we were in New Orleans. Like, I didn't know any of that, right? And then it also made me kind of think about Filipino martial arts, because we are a very big influence in a lot of Filipino, or a lot of martial art scenes in Hollywood. I don't know how many people, or if this isn't really well known or really well like pushed out there, but Bruce Lee, he studied Filipino martial arts. He incorporated that into his own
Yeah.
practice and introduced it to Hollywood. And a lot of fight scenes in Hollywood, they use Filipino martial arts because it's such a versatile thing. But you won't, like, they're not going to be like, this is Filipino like, so it's kind of like, we're there but we're not there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that with technology and everything, that we can kind of turn that narrative around, and we can be like,
Yes.
we are here, and we've always been here, and now when we continue to be here, you will know that it is us. So
This is us.
this is
Get out here.
we're here. We're here, huh? Okay.
Okay.
So
CK.
that is my
Love
quote.
it. Yes. Be proud. Thank you,
Yes.
sis. Mine kind of ties that out and maybe rounds it out. It's on page 239. And it's quoted from Villamora, which I wanted to say, like, this talk that her and Ate Judy had, they just talked about the timeline, and they're saying we're not historians, but they kind of brought their knowledge together, right? But Villamora reflected, and she kind of said, what I love about Filipino culture, it's so embracing of this range of influences. They just get absorbed into Filipino culture. It gets to a point where it doesn't feel foreign anymore because it's so much a part of the culture. And I think that's part of our personality and why Filipinos do so well in the diaspora, because we're not so rigid, because we can learn another language so easily, and because, you know, they're so ingenuously adaptable. They thrive no matter where they are.
Come on. Let's go.
So still don't know how they changed St. Malo to Bad Saint. Maybe that's just the cutting edge scene of DC, that kind of culture out there. But that's that. Go out, if y'all ever go out, if you're in DC already, support brown businesses, you know, visit Bad Saint. Let us know if the food is great. Because if you read the chapter at the end, she receives letters from a biracial brother or sister, said that, you know, their food kind of helped them come back to their roots. And
Yeah.
she's like, to me, it's, you know, a lot of people just take out, but I feel lucky that people have shared stories with us and how much Filipino food has meant to them. So
I feel like that's the easiest inroad for Filipinos to connect back to their roots, especially those that are multiracial or biracial. Um, there's a lot of pride in that. I know one of my nieces, she is a quarter Filipina and the rest she's and then white. But she loves the food, and that's like her big, and every time she will eat, like she will eat any food that my mother-in-law cooks. And so like my mother-in-law's like, oh, that's my Filipina girl.
Oh, that's just proud.
Yeah. So anyway, take pride in your food, take pride in the fact that we've always been here, take pride in the fact that we are adaptable. I honestly didn't know exactly how I felt when she was like, that's why we do so great in the diaspora. I'm like, yeah, yeah, and yeah, and like that is good. Like we knew how to survive, but now that we are, I think it's time to also survive and also remember the thread of who we are, you know. So
So, as we gratefully end this conversation, separate and cleanse our energies, and close out this container, we must recognize and honor all our ancestors, guides, and forces that brought us here. We recognize you too, dear Kapwatid, for turning into this conversation today. And as always, your Ates leave you with a blessing. So, as you continue on this lifelong journey of remembrance, may you know that you play a bigger part in our collective liberation than you might realize. May you know that we and all those that will come after you are grateful for the sacred work you are doing as you learn, integrate, and heal. May you know that your ancestors are with you and are proud of you. May the remembrance of Kapwa anchor you back into your heart. And until we see you again, may you know that all is well and will be well, and that no matter what happens, you are loved.